Patterns allow us to add even more power to applications automatically. Applying a pattern is very easy. As soon as you can do it, GeneXus creates objects, codes, and settings to provide interesting behaviors with no need to program them. Look at the Patterns section of a transaction. For example, in the Product Type transaction, we select the Patterns section. Note that 2 tabs are available, each one offering a different pattern to be applied to the same transaction. First of all, we choose the Work with for Web tab. To apply this pattern, we only have to select the checkbox Apply this pattern on Save and save. After that, if we look for the Product Type transaction in the KB Explorer, we can see that several new objects are found below the transaction. They were created by GeneXus when the Work with for Web pattern was applied. Now we press F5 to view the results at runtime. Look at the last link displayed to Work with Product Types. From here, the Product Type transaction will be called. We click on this link and a page is opened showing all the stored product types. This page lets users work with product types using a wider range of features. For example, if we click on Update for the first line, we can see that the Product Type transaction is open to edit the details of the product type in that line. We change the name and confirm. After editing and confirming, the application returns to the Work with Product Types page. The Delete link allows us to delete the product type in the line, and this Insert button allows adding new types of products. By clicking on it, the Product Type transaction is opened, ready for adding a new product type. Press it to enter a new product type. We are only asked to enter the name because we have set the key's attributes AutoNumber property to true. We enter a new product type and confirm. Once again, after the addition, the application returns to the Work with Product Types page. Now know that each product type name has a link. Let's click on Medicines, for example. The first tab shows all the details of the selected product type, and this other tab shows the list of products that belong to that product type. The Product tab was automatically generated because each product type has several related products. If each product type also had related data of another type, more tabs would have been generated to show each list of data related to the product type. Now, let's go back to the Work with Product Types in the Recent section here at the top. Know that it's possible to search by name. This means that if, for example, the user types C, only the product types that begin with this letter C will be displayed. Let's go back to GeneXus. So far, we have only selected Apply this pattern on Save in the Work with for Web tab of the product type transaction. After saving, you have seen all the features that are automatically generated. What you may not have noticed is this configurable tree. It has configurable nodes, subnodes, and elements, so you can customize the behaviors to be generated, that is, change the search criteria, etc. Now let's also apply the Work with for Web pattern to the product transaction too. As I explained before, you only have to open the product transaction and, in its pattern section, select the Work with for Web tab. Then select the option Apply this pattern on Save and save. We press F5 to generate and run the Work with Product page. We can see the same query features as in the Work with Product Type page. We go to Insert to add a new product. We confirm and see that the application returns to the Work with Product page. Since it's relevant to show the product type code in the grid, let's remove it. We go back to GeneXus and in the product transaction, patterns, Work with for Web, in the configurable tree, we're going to remove product type code. We simply click on Delete and press F5 to see the changes. we go to Work with Products and add some products in the same consecutive manner as before. Work with product lists. Work with product lists all the products we have added. Now let's go back to GeneXus and pay attention to the Work with for Smart Devices tab offered for each transaction. Let's apply it to the product type transaction. Again, we select Apply this pattern on Save and save. Note that under the main node level product type, there is a list node. If you click on it, in the window on the right, you'll see a grid containing the attribute product type name. Unlike the Work with for web pattern, in this case, the layout is already shown with a grid instead of a list of attributes below the node, which will be included in the grid. Now look at the Detail node, which allows you to view the details of a given grid line. The Detail node is composed of two sections, General and Product. Like the functionality implemented by the Work with web pattern, the General section displays the data associated with the selected product type, and the Product section displays inside a grid all the products that belong to the product type. After applying this pattern and saving, let's see the product type transaction in the KB Explorer. There's a new object called Work with Devices product type below the product type transaction. If you look at both objects generated under the product type transaction, you can see that Work with Devices product type doesn't have other objects below it because it includes different sections to define the entire implementation inside it. On the other hand, Work with product type is a configurable instance. GeneXus generates other objects below it to provide the useful behaviors we have mentioned. Soon you will see the Work with Devices product type component in action. Now we will create a panel object and set it as the first object of the application to be executed. This object will show an image so that when the user taps on it, the object Work with Devices product type is executed. We create another object by selecting File, New, Object in the toolbar. We'll name it Pharmacy Menu. The type of object is found in User Interface Panel. We click on Create to have the panel created and opened. We select it and go to the main program property. As we can see, it is false, and we'll set it to true so that it becomes an executable object independent of the developer menu. That is, it can be compiled and executed on its own. Now let's insert an image control inside the layout section by selecting Insert and Image. If your photo is stored in a file, you must press Import from File. We are asked to define a name for the image loaded in the knowledge base, and we click OK. We select it, and you can see how the design looks with the image inserted. By double-clicking on the image control, its default event is shown. Inside the tab event associated with the image, we need to call the object Work with Devices product type, but this object is composed of many parts that we have seen in its nodes. In this particular case, the list node of the object must be called, as our objective is to show the list with all the product types the pharmacy offers. To this end, we place the cursor inside the event and select Insert Object. We filter by name and select the object Work with Devices product type. The object name has been inserted, so now we indicate the object's component that must be executed. To understand what we have to complete in the line of code, let's review the node tree in the Work with Devices product type object. The object has a main node, product type, and below it we can find the nodes list and detail respectively. We call the list node. To call the list node, the complete syntax is as shown below. Let's go back to Pharmacy Menu and type period, product type, period, list. Now everything is defined and ready to run the mobile and smart devices application. Since the Pharmacy Menu object has its main program property set to true, we can execute it independently of the KB Explorer by right-clicking on the object and selecting Run. We can run it with a mobile device emulator that will open, or directly on your smart device if you connected it to your computer. In this case, In this case, we can see the application running on the mobile device. Tapping on the image shows the list of product types that pharmacy offers. Note that the Insert button on the top right corner can be easily removed, as this application is for end users and we don't want them to be able to insert new products. They should only be able to view the different product types, not edit them. When you tap on each product types, for instance, cosmetics for teens, the detail is shown together with its two sections, General and Product. Obviously, this is a very simple demonstration, but much more sophisticated applications can be achieved. In the next video, we're going to talk about the possibilities offered by Genexus to generate in other languages.